TuneIn app and search KUAW. Listen to us. We're on 24 hours a day. That's KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. And this is what you hear every day from noon till 2. Don't miss the Cheryl Underwood Show.
Where you at, baby?
Sure, I'm at my first alma mater, Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia. CAU was the first HBCU in the southern United States. Shout out to our affiliate ATL Talks in Atlanta, Georgia, and everyone getting out there to vote for those 2 Senate seats. We love you.
That's what I'm talking.
You are listening to KUAW Radio, home of the all-new Jamal Bakes Show, and I'm Jamal Bakes, and thank you so very much for listening to the station bringing you talk, news, entertainment that you won't get anywhere else. KUAW, in, of, and about our community.
This is the last weekend before Christmas, and on Blue Simon City, we're wrapping up our all Christmas blues and Southern Soul program.
Gene Bailey.
We have a very special guest that you will definitely enjoy, and we'll hear from some of the artists that sing the Christmas blues. Join me, Gene Bailey, for Blue Simon City this weekend before Christmas, right here.
All right, good evening. Good afternoon. Yes. It is time once again for BFTAA and More show. This is your host, Louis George Walker, as I get things set up and rolling here. I know you guys listening on YouTube, y'all don't hear the music, and Facebook, y'all don't hear the music right now, but we do have some music going on. Yes, if you check on our TuneIn site where you get the music also, you'd understand why I'm kind of bouncing a little bit. But anyway, that's our theme, the art of invention. So we've got that going on, playing in the background. But we're coming to you today with a special end of the year show because we're finishing out this year. This is about the end of 2000. I think a lot of us are kind of glad that it's ending, but you know, we do want to celebrate that we made it through. So if nothing else, you can say I made it through 2020. Yeah, 2020 will be a year a lot of us will remember. Probably all of us will remember what went on this year, because this year has been a different year than any that we have seen before. But we're glad to make it through it and glad to be moving forward. We turn this up just a little bit. Okay, there. Now you can maybe hear me a little better. All right. So as we go get ready, we're going to have a special show. One show, we're going to do a lot of discussion or talking about Kwanzaa, since this is that time of year when we usually say, if we had this out, what time is it? You know, and it's Kwanzaa time. Yes, Kansas City has a huge Kwanzaa celebration or tradition that goes on, although Kwanzaa is still a family event, and that you celebrate Kwanzaa in your home or with other family members, or you can celebrate it in a group setting. So this year there's a lot more going on in the celebrations at home. But today, if they would greet you with Habar Gani, your answer would be Ujima. And Ujima is for collective work and responsibility. So of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa, and this being the 3rd day of Kwanzaa, it is Ujima, collective work and responsibility. So remember that. That's one of the things we want to stress today with your friends and all that you go around with. Also, a lot of times some people fast during Kwanzaa, and they don't eat until after 6 o'clock. So if you are celebrating and honoring the Kwanzaa spirit with a fast today, we wish you well, and soon you'll be able to join in the celebration with that meal, with that special meal for today. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about what Kwanzaa means. I have an article that I had pulled up from Your Black World. Says the importance of Kwanzaa to the struggle for black liberation. And this was by Bashir Muhammad Akinle. and it's in Your Black World. If you don't subscribe to that, check it out. They're on Facebook and YouTube. You can get a subscription that they send it to you in email regularly, but it's called Your Black World. They have some real good articles in there, so you might check it out. We're also going to talk about what's going on in NASA, because we do stress STEM and science, technology, engineering, and mathematics here at KUAW Radio, because we are a part of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. Yes, and we're partnered with the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, located at 4510 East Linwood Boulevard in Kansas City, Missouri, 64128. Yes, we're here in the building, and this building is about tutoring, is about working with the mind and improving your standard of living, improving your educational outcomes. That's what we do. And as a STEM representative, I always like to show some of what's going on in NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, because they cover a lot of fields, and it's always good to expose our young people and ourselves to new things that are going on. You know, this country is engaging on preparing for a trip to Mars, whether you know it or not. Yes, they're making those plans. So not just going to the moon, which is going to be the first step, but to go on to Mars. There is a lot of potential there, and a lot of room for growth for people, for jobs, for careers, for things going on. So we like to show you what's going on at NASA. And by the way, that is a lot of your tax dollars at work. So you need to know what's going on there. But it's a good thing and a good educational track or pathway to have your kids on. If you go to the NASA website at nasa.gov, you'll find a lot of educational things that you can work on with your children, with your students, and some things that can help you learn some stuff of what's going on there. So we're going to go right now to the year end. So they're going to show you what's the year end at NASA, and then we'll be back here, and we'll talk about the importance of Kwanzaa to the struggle for Black liberation. All right, so stay tuned. I'll be right back.
2020 was historic for NASA. We launched humans to the International Space Station from America again, made progress on our plans to return humans to the moon and explore Mars, had an unprecedented encounter with an asteroid, and displayed perseverance and resilience in space and on Earth, all while helping the country deal with a global crisis. Here's a look back at highlights from those and other things we did this year at NASA. Early in the year, as the initial impacts of the coronavirus pandemic were being felt across the country, the NASA workforce stepped up to the challenge, developing innovative technologies, including a ventilator prototype, an oxygen hood, and a device for sterilizing medical equipment.
NASA is an amazing little agency that does astonishing things every day.
And astonishing is a good way to describe the mission-critical work NASA continued and accomplished in 2020 in spite of the challenges.
Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA, go SpaceX, Godspeed, Spot and Dog.
It was a landmark year for humans in space and for how we get them there. Our SpaceX Demo 2 test flight to the International Space Station was the first human space mission to launch to the station from America since the end of the Space Shuttle program in 2011. That was followed by the first commercial crew rotational flight to the station, carrying 4 astronauts aboard a SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft named Resilience. November marked the 20th year of humans continuously living and working aboard the space station, with one station astronaut, Christina Cook, wrapping up a record 328-day stay on the orbital outpost, the most time spent in space on a single mission by any woman. Meanwhile, astronauts Bob Behnken and Chris Cassidy each completed record-tying 10th spacewalks on the same outing in July. And we graduated the first class of astronaut candidates for future missions to the station, the moon, and Mars, and accepted more than 12,000 applications for the next class of Artemis generation candidates. It was a big year for our Artemis plans, capped off in December with the introduction of 18 astronauts that will help pave the way for human missions on and around the moon, including landing the first woman and next man on the moon by 2024.
My fellow Americans, I give you the heroes of the future who who will carry us back to the moon and beyond.
We continued testing the Space Launch System, or SLS rocket's core stage for Artemis 1 with the Green Run test series to verify the core stage is launch ready for 2021. Teams began stacking the SLS solid rocket boosters and practiced rollout with a mobile launcher that will be used for the flight. And after rigorous environmental testing, we began final preparations on our Orion spacecraft for the uncrewed Artemis 1 mission. Artemis 1 is the first in a series of increasingly complex missions to the moon that will ultimately lead to human exploration of Mars. In October, NASA and 7 partner countries signed the Artemis Accords for international participation. An 8th partner joined later. We finalized agreements with the European Space Agency and the Canadian Space Agency to collaborate on our Gateway lunar outpost. We worked with private industry on Artemis, selecting 3 U.S. companies, Blue Origin, Dynetics, and SpaceX, to design and develop human lunar landing systems. We also selected SpaceX to be the first U.S. company to deliver experiments and other critical cargo to the Gateway. We announced the first scientific investigations for the Gateway will be a study on solar particles and solar wind, and one on how to keep astronauts safe from radiation. We made multiple task order awards and payload assignments as part of our Commercial Lunar Payload Services, or CLPS initiative, to work with American companies to send science and technology to the lunar surface. We selected Astrobotic to send a golf cart-sized robot called Viper to the moon's south pole in search for water, and solicited bids from CLPS partners to fly a suite of science and technology payloads to the moon in 2022. We had a steady stream of groundbreaking science missions in 2020.
And we have touchdown!
October saw a first for the agency when our OSIRIS-REx spacecraft touched asteroid Bennu and collected sample material. When it is returned to Earth, we hope the ancient material teaches us more about the origins of the solar system.
And liftoff as the countdown to Mars continues.
We launched the Perseverance rover and Ingenuity helicopter on our Mars 2020 mission, both named by students. Perseverance will be the first Mars rover to collect samples for future return to Earth, while Ingenuity will be the only aircraft to attempt flight on another world. We teamed with the European Space Agency on the Solar Orbiter mission that will provide the first ever images of the Sun's poles and unique insight into how the Sun affects the space environment. The SOFIA Flying Observatory confirmed for the first time the existence of water molecules on the sunlit surface of the moon. We identified a molecule in the atmosphere of Saturn's moon Titan that has never been detected in any other atmosphere. This could point to the presence of more complex compounds there that are favorable to life. And we celebrated 30 years of our Hubble Space Telescope, which continues to enhance our understanding of the cosmos and quite literally our view of it. NASA Space Technology in 2020 helped to advance future exploration, science, and aeronautics capabilities and benefit life on Earth. A NASA-developed sensor suite that could help robotic and crewed missions make precise soft landings on the moon was launched on a Blue Origin suborbital rocket. We continued developing 2 instruments to study using lunar resources. M-SOLO and Trident will conduct chemical analysis and drill for resources respectively. A NASA project is making gears housed inside a metallic glass material that can withstand the extreme cold on the moon without being heated to keep them operational. We announced 20 partnerships to mature U.S. industry-developed space technologies for the moon and beyond, including a 3D printing system for Artemis, testing of a simple method to remove dust from planetary solar arrays, and more. Our green propellant infusion mission successfully proved that space missions can use less toxic fuel for future missions. And for the first time, an experiment that bounces a laser beam from Earth off a reflector the size of a paperback book that is mounted on our Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter received a signal back. This could enhance laser experiments used to study the physics of the universe. NASA and partner agencies observing our home planet witnessed record-breaking activity in 2020. The Atlantic hurricane season produced 30 named storms, the most ever on record, with 13 of those reaching hurricane status. Meanwhile, a devastating wildfire season in the western part of the country saw more than 3 million acres burned in California alone. NASA instruments on spacecraft, satellites, and aircraft provided data to responding agencies. including satellite imagery showing smoke and unhealthy aerosols from the fires drifting toward the eastern part of the country.
And liftoff.
The Sentinel-6 Michael Freilich satellite launched in November. It is the first of 2 identical satellites scheduled to make global sea level observations for at least the next decade. We help you celebrate the 50th anniversary of Earth Day virtually with the hashtag Earth Day at Home and online videos, activities, and other resources available in both English and Spanish. And people around the world helped us map out coral reefs by playing a video game that uses specialized instruments to capture 3D images that a NASA supercomputer then uses to map out reefs at an unprecedented resolution. We continued our research in the skies aimed at helping the aviation industry operate traditional and next-generation aircraft more safely and efficiently. The wing and cockpit sections of our X-59 quiet supersonic technology aircraft began taking shape. The plane also received its one-of-a-kind engine. The X-59 is being developed to create a low-noise sonic boom that can barely be heard, if at all, by people on the ground. We made significant progress developing the X-57 Maxwell, our first all-electric experimental plane, with testing of the high aspect ratio wing, the electric cruise motors, and the propeller assemblies. A pair of NASA research projects flew as part of Boeing's 2020 Eco Demonstrator program that could lead to quieter, more fuel-efficient future aircraft and fewer operational flight delays. We continued our research efforts to develop an air transportation system for revolutionary new aircraft, including using a remotely piloted aircraft to simulate an urgent medical transport mission. And we used augmented reality software that can make useful information about drones and other aerial vehicles more widely available to airspace operators. Whether it's advancing space exploration, making scientific discoveries, or any of the other amazing things we do year in and year out, NASA does what it does to benefit you. Here's a few more examples from 2020. In the midst of stay-at-home recommendations due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we compiled a NASA at Home online resource to help you stay engaged and explore the universe around us. A computer simulation was used to show that fewer amounts than usual of some pollutants were found in Earth's atmosphere, due presumably to changes in human activity because of pandemic-related restrictions. And a new traffic management project for emergency response aircraft looked at how drones might be used to help responders more safely and efficiently assist you during future disaster operations. Those are some of the highlights from what NASA did in 2020. For more details, visit nasa.gov/2020. Thanks for watching. We wish you a safe, healthy, and happy holiday season and look forward to sharing more NASA highlights with you in 2021.
All right, we're back. Yeah, just kind of scared you, didn't I? No, yeah, we're back. But that was a rather long NASA. We usually run those about 3 to 4 minutes, but for the end of the year, they put out a longer narration to show what NASA's been doing throughout the year. And there's a lot that goes on at NASA, so I want you guys to remember to tell your young people, especially if they're involved in sciences and like that, to check out the NASA website. And also tell them to get in touch with the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, because we're here to help spur that knowledge and that wanting to learn in young people. We have a couple of robotics teams that we work with. We do VEX robotics for high schoolers and junior high. And also for our elementary school students, we have a Lego robotics team. So we can get kids involved. They can do some building. They can learn how to do some programming and build, design robots that will be able to compete in games and stuff that goes on. And that can help them out, especially as going toward college or looking at a career. We've had a couple of young people that have come through our program and are now in college. So not that we did it, but hopefully I would like to think that maybe we played a little part in helping them be ready for college. I also would like to let you know that in that vein that we are the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, and this organization started our first goal was to see that all families had a computer in the house with high-speed internet access. That was what started the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. We had an event called Black Family Technology Awareness Week, and it was to show you the benefits of getting into the digital age. This was back in 2004, and the internet was going really starting to grow, but we were still using a lot of dial-up back then. I mean, if you had a speed getting 56 kilobits a second, that was considered fast, you know, and we were just getting into the megabit and 2 megabits, 3 megabits. Now we have gigabit Ethernet. So it's really expanded a lot, and you still have a lot of people that aren't participating in this revolutionary scientific and informational program that is going on. Technology is really moving, and some people are missing out. I mean, some people choose not to be involved, but some are just missing out because they don't know. And that's what we're here for. That's what the Black Family Technology Awareness Association is doing. And one of the things that we're going to be doing here later this week is we're going to be giving out some computers. We have a few computers that are being donated. They're being refurbished and donated to us. And we're making those available to families in our kids in our robotics program. I sent them the information first because they're working with the WEB, the Boys Learning Center, and the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. I wanted those families to get involved. But we also have some available for the general public. So we sent out an email. We wanted you to contact us, but you can contact us right now or by email. Just email BFTAA@sbcglobal.net. Or you can hit us up on our Facebook page. You can go to the KUAW Facebook page or the BFTAA Facebook page. We have a total of 30 computers coming in. Only 15 of them right now have monitors, and the people that are refurbishing them says that the first of the year they're going to be getting monitors for the second 15. So right now we have 15 with monitors. We've already had about 9 of them accounted for, but we have 6 more that we would like to give to families that have students, especially families that have students at home. We've got at least 6 more to give right now, and we'll put your name on the waiting list after that for the next 15 that come in. So if you want to get in touch, if you'd like to receive a desktop computer, now these aren't laptops or tablets, this is a desktop computer that's been refurbished. It's going to come with a monitor, a keyboard, and a mouse. It already has the operating system Windows loaded on it. So all of that, and a company is making that available to us. They're going to deliver them here Wednesday at 2 p.m., and we've been notifying people that have contacted us if they're within the number range. So like I said, we've got about 6 more that we can put out. So if you would like to, or you know a family that needs a computer in the household, especially if they have students at home, contact KUAW Radio. You can hit us up on Facebook. You can give me a call right now, 816-599-6893. We have 6 of these computers that we want to give away that'll be coming in, rather, come Wednesday. And we also have another batch. They're coming in together, but they won't have monitors. So we want to wait until we get the monitors for the second batch. So the first 6 people that contact us will be able to get it in. And one people that have families, have kids at home that need to use these computers. But if you're an adult, if you're a veteran, if you're somebody that just needs a computer at home, you can definitely ask for one too, because we don't want to deprive anybody that really needs one of these 6 computers that we have. So give us a call, 816-599-6893, or hit us up on Facebook. You can go to our Facebook page for the Black Family Technology Awareness Association or the BFTAA Facebook page. So, or the KUAW Facebook page, either one of those. And our email is BFTAA@sbcglobal.net. I've got a spreadsheet that I'm making of when I get contacted from people. So want to definitely do this as a first come, first serve, but want to do it in order. So if you would get in contact with us, we would definitely like to make those available to you. Those are computers that are being donated by, I forgot their name now, Exerna? Yeah, over in Lenexa. Anyway, we'll have a photo op and stuff when they come in here Wednesday, and I'll get that name. I've got to pull it back up on my phone. But want to let you know that they are doing a good thing by donating these computers. Want to give thanks to them, and Kendra Donato really has been a spearhead in getting this for us. So we want to say thank you to her very much. All right. So now let's talk about what's going on with Kwanzaa. You know, yes. The importance of Kwanzaa to the struggle for black liberation. Very good article, and it's out of Your Black World. You need to check this out by Bashir Muhammad Akinyele. I probably didn't say his last name correctly. Maybe I'll have to get in touch with him to get the pronunciation. But it was really good, and I thought I'd share it with you. One of the things it says is, one of the sayings is, culture is a weapon in the face of our enemies. And that was from Amilcar Cabral. He was one of Africa's foremost anti-colonial leaders. Some of us are still on the revolutionary path to liberate ourselves from white and Arab cultural domination. Therefore, some of us do not celebrate any European or Arab holidays. However, we know that many of us in the African world community celebrate European and Arab holidays. This is because of the centuries of slavery, colonialism, apartheid, and the invasion of the African world by non-African people. Generations of black people were forced to practice non-African cultural holidays such as Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, Halloween, and Valentine's Day. Black life has been and still is culturally dominated by Europeans and Arabs in the new millennium. On the African continent, black people have been ravaged by hundreds of years of European and Arab enslavement. In some quarters of the African world now, Arab slavery is practiced without a pause. So there's still some things going on in parts of Africa where there is slavery. That is known. That is not something that people are just saying, but that is something that has been happening in the world to this day. For nearly 100 years, Africa was subjugated to European colonialism. Down in South Africa, Europeans subdued our people into a vicious and violent racial caste system called apartheid. Apartheid system was created by white colonialists from Europe that racially separated black people from all white people in Africa. So that's kind of giving you the background, not to incite anybody, but just give you the facts, just so that you know. All of this oppression has left continental Africa deeply divided, ethnically and culturally disoriented. We as black people on the African continent have been fighting for our humanity and fighting to rebuild a liberated Africa for less than 100 years. In America, African Americans were brought to this part of the world, or the Western Hemisphere. You see, black people were and have been dominated culturally by Europeans for nearly 500 years. In America, African Americans were brought to this part of the world 401 years ago. We were enslaved for 250 of those 401 years. White people made it illegal in the United States for African Americans to be a man, to be a woman, to be a child, to be married, to have our own family structure, to practice democracy, to pursue the spirit of happiness, to have proper education, to possess our own African names, to speak our own African languages, to practice our own African faith traditions, and to embrace our own culture. The U.S. Civil War brought an end to American slavery in 1865. The 13th Amendment was passed that same year, outlawing forced servitude in the United States. But after our people endured the horrors of United States slavery, the African American community was reduced to a racial caste system. as black people waited for the United States government to determine whether or not to give us our citizenship and voting rights during the Reconstruction period. That was the period after the Civil War. Racist black codes were created to keep us regulated to the lowest realms of society. However, the 14th and 15th Amendments of 1868 and 1870 granted us citizenship and the voting franchise. During this time, reparations were considered, but never given to the black community to repair the financial, psychological, and cultural damages done by United States slavery. However, what we got in place of justice was more legal racial discrimination. The Southern whites within the former Confederate states were given back to racist white people. They, in turn, launched a political war in the United States government against some early freedoms black people gained during Reconstruction, such as citizenship and voting rights. Racist whites convinced the United States government that it would be beneficial to separate blacks from all white people, and the government agreed. White people went on to create a racial policy that turned African Americans into second-class citizens and limited the black vote. For nearly 100 years, black people were under American segregation. United States segregation racially separated black people from white people in every aspect of society. Segregation in America lasted from 1896 to 1965. It was even illegal in some parts of the country to marry of different race. So they were really strict about that, and they made laws on it. The effects of slavery and segregation left the African American community in search of ways to reconstruct our lives and our destroyed African cultural traditions. Under slavery and segregation in America, we were forced to extol everything white, but made to hate everything black as a direct result of systematic racism. So, you know, this goes on. We as African-American people in the United States have been left in a protracted struggle for blackness ever since 1619. We almost lost a complete knowledge of our own cultural traditions. However, we are thankful to the Creator and our ancestors for their divine intervention in our affairs by raising up black leaders, i.e. Richard Allen, Paul Coffey, Sojourner Truth, Denmark Vesey, Nat Turner, Gabriel Prosser, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, David Walker, Martin Delany, Booker T. Washington, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, H. Sylvester Williams, George Pardon, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, Noble Drew Ali, and the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Kwame Nkrumah, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Huey P. Newton, Bobby Seale, Kathleen Cleaver, Fred Hampton, Dura bin Wahad, Asua Shakur, Kwame Ture, and Mari Baraka. The name goes on. The names go on and on and on. But they led liberation struggles against white cultural supremacy throughout our sojourn in America. One of those leaders that rose up to continuously wage a cultural war against the white domination of black people in America is Dr. Maulana Karange. He came forward to establish Kwanzaa as a pathway to rebuild the African world community and create revolutionary African culture for black liberation. Dr. Karange is currently the chair of African Studies Department at the California State University, Long Beach, the founder of a black cultural nationalist organization called the US Organization, and the co-founding member of ASCAC, ASCAC, the study of classical African civilizations. In Los Angeles, California, Dr. Karange became a respected community freedom fighter in the turbulent 1960s. This was an era of national black freedom struggle, which consisted of the civil rights and black power movements. By 1966, the black power movement came to the scene, capturing the imagination of the masses of black people. It produced several leading organizations, such as the original Black Panther Party and the US Organization. The original Black Panther Party was founded in Oakland California, on October the 15th, 1966, by Dr. Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale. Its political philosophy was rooted in revolutionary black nationalism. The original black party organized our people for black unity. So that's given us some history about that and about what was going on and how we come up to a time of KUAW and some of the people behind it. And that it came up in a time of black nationalism when it was trying to reestablish, as we had started in the 60s when they started saying black is beautiful. That just seems like a saying now, but it's just like when you hear today that Black Lives Matter, and people say, well, all lives matter and stuff, but we had to be profound in letting them know that Black Lives Matter because we're not getting that impression from the community, from the world, from the government. Well, in the early 60s, it was a big thing to say black is beautiful because for years, for a long time, you had been told that black was ugly, that black wasn't a thing to be popular and stuff. So black is beautiful was to help bring back that feeling of self, that self-determination, that you can determine what is beautiful and not let it be determined for you by somebody outside of you that wants to use it to hold you back. As an advocate for Pan-African self-determination, Dr. Karinga created a black nationalist political and cultural empowerment philosophy called KUAW. Dr. Karinga defines KUAW as a communitarian African philosophy created in the context of the African American liberation struggle and developed as an ongoing synthesis of the best of African thought and practice in constant exchange with the world. KUAW became the foundation for Kwanzaa, a non-religious Pan-African centered holiday celebrated from December 26th to January the 1st. Amy McKeever of the National Geographic magazine published a history article on American racist conditions that created Kwanzaa. Her article was printed on December 22nd, 2020. She writes, Kwanzaa was founded in 1966, a year after a historic rebellion rocked the Watts neighborhood in Los Angeles, California. Frustrated by years of abuse at the hands of police and crushed by poverty, the community protested and rioted. The unrest lasted a week and left 34 people dead, 1,000 injured. In the weeks after the Watts Rebellion, Malanga Karinga, an activist and leader in the Black Power music movement, founded the US organization to rebuild the neighborhood and promote a black cultural revolution that would inspire pride in black history and achievements, long dismissed and suppressed by the dominant white culture. From the beginning, the plan was to create a holiday for African Americans to honor their African roots and reaffirm their cultural connections. Kwanzaa was also envisioned as a secular alternative to the holiday juggernaut that is Christmas. To establish the traditions of the new holiday, Karinga drew upon Pan-African set of cultural symbols and practices. In particular, he believed that the annual harvest festivals in which communities came together to celebrate their fruits of their collective labor were an apt model for building family and community culture. So that was what it was all about, was to build the culture, to get us back together. So in Kwanzaa, the Mashuma Saba, which is Kiswahili for 7 candles, are used to represent Nguza Saba. 7 candles are placed in a kinara, that is Kiswahili for candle holder. They must be 3 red, 3 green, and 1 black candle. The kinara is placed on top of the makia, which is a woven mat. The colors of the candle represent the colors of the Black Liberation flag. Additionally, the Black Liberation bandera, or the Kiswahili flag, is placed by the Kwanzaa display. The Black Liberation colors represent the following. Red is for the innocent shedding of African blood. Black is for the African people all over the world. and green is for Mother Africa. So those are some of the meanings, some of the basis for it. But that's one of the things to look at is that, you know, there are symbols used. There's a lot about Kiswahili or African cultural formation that they're looking to do, or that we are looking to do as a people, to come together at a time of holiday. And today is the third day of Kwanzaa, which, as we had said before, is Ujima, collective work and responsibility. Let's see. And to build and maintain our community together, and to make our sisters and brothers' problems our problems, and to solve them together. So that's what collective work and responsibility is all about, is for us to work together, us to take on each other's problems. Let's work together as one family. So as this season of Kwanzaa is upon us, think about the 7 principles and how you can live them, not for 7 days, but for 365 days. Yes, for all year. And that's what it's about. Now, in Kansas City, we do have a Kwanzaa celebration usually held at the Gym Theater for the last, 10 years or better. I know it's been going on in Kansas City for over 20, 25 years. The National Black United Front hosts this big celebration. And this year, being that we're dealing with the pandemic, they're not able to host the celebration as they normally would. They're not going to be at the Gym Theater. So one of the things that they're doing, and my wife and I were able to watch last night, is that you can see the Kwanzaa celebrations that are going on virtually. So there's still Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa has not been canceled. Kwanzaa did not go away. It is still there. And let me see if I can bring this up for you. Let's see, where's it at? Right there. There you go. So you can view Kwanzaa tonight and all the way up until New Year's. The 7 days of Kwanzaa program start at 7. They go from 7 to 9 p.m. And it's on Twitch TV. So you have to have an internet connection. That's another reason, as we said, the Black Family Technology Awareness Association was formed, that everyone should have a computer. We should see the value in having a computer and a broadband internet connection at our house. Now that we're at a time that we can share the information about our community, about our people, among ourselves and to the world, but without filter, without getting permission and things. If you have the internet, you go to Twitch TV, that's twitch.tv/NBUFKC. That's the National Black United Front of Kansas City. You can go there if you see that on the screen right now, and you can see the whole program. They do an opening. They do everything that we do normally at the gym, but it's done, virtually. So it was really great last night as we participated in it. If you have time tonight or any night between now and New Year's, be sure and check out the National Black United Front. So let's see if I can move that out of the way. Move this low. There. Okay. It says, tell them we're rising. That's the theme. The National Black United Front presents a national virtual celebration of Kwanzaa 2020. So that's going on right now. It's great. We were there last night. They had people from Houston that were showing their Kwanzaa celebration, not just their celebration, but things that they've done, the National Black United Front chapter down there, throughout the year, that they're feeding people and that they have Saturday schools and things like that going on. So be sure and check that out. This is a great time of year. It's a good time for reflection, a good time for thought, and it's a good time to celebrate what African Americans are, and what not just African Americans, but what Africans worldwide are, because they celebrate Kwanzaa all around the world. They celebrate it over in Europe, and they're celebrating it in Africa, and they're celebrating it wherever we are as a people. So wanted to get that out to you. It's been a lot of things going on for this show. This is the last BFTAA and More show for 2020. I look forward to joining you again in 2021. Want you to be here with me every Monday for BFTAA and More. The Black Family Technology Awareness Association is here, and we're just going to be bringing you more and better shows and information as this next year's coming. 2021 is going to be a good year. It's got to be better than the one we had. All right, we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Be easy. All right, you're listening to KUAW Radio, Kansas City's global community radio station. We don't only bring you videos on Facebook and YouTube, but listen to our audio only, where you'll get shows like Cheryl Underwood and Blues Time in the City. You can pick us up at www.kuaw.org or go to the TuneIn app and search KUAW. Listen to us. We're on